The world around us is full of mysteries and riddles, some left to us by our ancestors. The earth we walk on every day is no exception. Have you ever wondered what is hidden under the ground? Archaeologists are actively exploring it, discovering many interesting things. Sometimes ordinary people help them as well. In this video, I present to you the most amazing finds from the bowels of our earth. Enjoy watching. On November 16, 1922, Eric Lowes, a farmer living in the village of Hawks, lost his hammer. To find it, he went into the field with a metal detector, which he had received as a retirement gift. Lowes looked around the field and tried to find the lost tool. When the metal detector picked up a strong signal, Lowes thought he had stumbled upon a large piece of metal. He set about digging, but it quickly became clear that his find was incredibly valuable. After digging up a few handfuls of earth mixed with gold and silver coins, Lowes realized that there was much more on the farm. Soon he stopped digging and contacted the authorities. They, in turn, enlisted the help of the local archaeological society and asked experts to inspect the site. The next day, the researchers carefully excavated a piece of farmland. Then everything they found was transported to a safe place, where every part of the find could be studied under laboratory conditions. The treasure weighed almost 27 kilograms and contained 15,234 gold, silver, and bronze coins, 200 gold objects, and dozens of silver spoons. Fortunately for Lowes, the British government rewarded him for his incredible find with a hefty sum of £1.75 million. He was also thanked for leaving the treasure untouched. The archaeologists who worked on the excavation also received generous remuneration. In the end, the project in which they worked became known as the largest treasure trove found in Great Britain. When Buffy Bailey and her husband Ian used a metal detector to search for treasure on farmland near York, they didn't expect to find anything special. Hearing the familiar beep of the device, Buffy thought she was about to discover something insignificant, like a tag from a sheep's ear or a lid from a beverage can. Soon, however, the couple dug out a small golden object from the ground. It weighed less than an ounce and was about 1.5 inches long. The artifact was shaped like a book and was most likely made in the 15th century. The book was made of 22 or 24 karat gold, making it one of the most valuable finds of the past few years. The artifact is engraved with images of Saints Leonardo and Marguerite, the patrons of childbirth. Archaeologists and historians believe the book belonged to a relative of King Richard III of England. It may have been owned by his wife, and Neville, who kept the talisman with her during pregnancy and childbirth. After examining the artifact, experts have determined that its value is about $130,000, and possibly more. But its value goes beyond its face value. According to historians, the book dates back to a time when laws forbade anyone but the nobility from wearing gold. A curious burial has been discovered in a medieval grave near the Italian city of Bologna. The remains belonged to a pregnant woman who lived between the 7th and 8th centuries, Old Style. Researchers who discovered and excavated the grave in 2010 were puzzled by what they saw. The woman apparently had a head injury, but the most tragic thing about her grave was the tiny skeleton between her legs. Postmortem childbirth is a controversial phenomenon. It is a phenomenon in which the infant is somehow squeezed out of the mother's body. In most cases, the baby also ends up dead. But some testimonies claim that there are cases of live births in coffins. According to archaeologists, the woman died about 38 weeks pregnant. The baby's head was below the pelvic cavity at the time of death, which means the woman was close to giving birth. Theoretically, the cervix should not relax after death, which means the baby should remain inside. Some experts suggest that the buildup of gas inside the cadaver could lead to the mechanical expulsion of the fetus from the body. Do you believe in reincarnation? Regardless of your answer, the story of Dorothy is sure to interest you. Dorothy was born in January 1904 into a happy family. She was a cheerful child who was naturally curious about everything around her. However, her life was almost cut short, at least that's what her parents thought at first. Dorothy was pronounced dead after she fell down a long spiral staircase. This was not the case, though. A few hours after the fall and her supposed last breath, she was found upright and restless on her bed. After the accident, Dorothy's behavior and mood changed. When the family went to the British Museum in 1908, her parents noticed that Dorothy was paying particular attention to Egyptian artifacts. Dorothy sat down near one of the preserved mummies and begged her parents to let her stay there because she wanted to be with her people. She also knelt down to kiss the feet of one of the statues, which naturally caused bewilderment in those around her. After the family visited the museum, Dorothy had a dream. She found herself in an unfamiliar garden she had never seen before, but it seemed so familiar. When Dorothy saw the picture of Egypt and the Temple of Seti I, she began to insist that this was where she belonged. Her dreams became more and more vivid. This led the girl to believe that she had lived in ancient Egypt in the past and that she was the reincarnation of an Egyptian priestess. Instead of ignoring her dreams, she traveled to the Egyptian city of Cairo, where she married an Egyptian. Of course, people around the world questioned her story because it involved reincarnation, but Dorothy was not embarrassed. Despite everyone's scorn and skepticism, she claimed to have seen the vision she saw in a dream. She claimed to remember the palace garden and the Temple of Seti I. She pointed to a patch of land, and to her surprise, when the site was excavated, the remains of the magnificent garden were indeed in a previously unexplored location. And this is just one of her many predictions about ancient Egypt. Seeing dead people is normal for archaeologists and scientists alike, as they deal with dead bodies and remains almost daily to examine them and learn more about our past. However, some finds still baffle them, and such was the case with the human remains in the so-called Capuchin crypt. Looking at the picture, people all over the world were puzzled. Who wouldn't be frightened to see several mummies lying on the ground? The Capuchin crypt is a small dungeon beneath a church in Rome. Visitors from all over the world come to Rome just to catch a glimpse of this macabre landmark. This underground crypt holds the 3,700 bodies of Capuchin monks buried by the order. In 1631, the monks arrived at the church, bringing with them 300 bodies of former members of the order who had died. Their remains have been preserved here ever since. Some of the old skeletons have been taken apart and turned into decorations. Needless to say, this attraction is not for the faint of heart. Do you think you have the courage to visit? Share your opinion in the comments. That's all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell. For me, your activity is the best reward. Thanks for your attention.